Welcome to Baxter Bell Yoga. I'm Baxter Bell, and two quick things before we jump into our practice today. First, if you're watching this on YouTube and you find the video valuable, please like it. Secondly, if you want to learn more about my yoga teaching, whether that's yoga classes online or in person, yoga privates or yoga therapy privates, or upcoming workshops and retreats, there's one easy place to find all that information. That's my website, baxterbell.com. So without further ado, let's jump right into our practice. Today I'm really excited to share with you a very basic balance pose that I teach a lot in my classes, and it's called the Flamingo Pose. And this is a little different than some other videos that you'll find on my Baxter Bell Yoga YouTube channel, where we're doing something called Flamenco Flamingo. That particular pose involves a tree pose leg position. And this one is really very similar to what we see in nature with birds when they balance on one leg and they tuck the other leg up in toward their body. And so the leg just kind of comes forward and up. So we're going to do this as a nice little challenge for balance to help improve our balance. I will mention that if you have any concern or feel vulnerable doing balance practices, feel free to stand closer to a wall behind you where you could bring your fingertips to touch or lean back against it if you need to, or you could have a chair off to your side to place your hand on the chair back. So take whatever support you need to feel comfortable as you play around and have some fun with trying to balance. So you can start with your feet maybe a little narrower than we often do for mountain pose. And then let's start by shifting the weight a little bit to the right. As you shift your weight to the right, let your left knee bend. So there are a couple different stages that you can do in the flamingo exploration. Option one would just be have the arms a little bit out to your sides and simply lift up onto the toes of your left foot. So you're balancing on your right foot, and already I can feel that I have to stabilize things with muscle and physical awareness in order to not fall right or left. So if this feels comfortable for you and you want to just lift your toes an inch or two off the floor, this might be considered stage two. And then, if your balance is still doing okay, you could even lift the knee up. Usually my maximum height is about parallel with the floor. The arms could stay here, they could come out to the sides like in airplane wings, or I sometimes like to do the bird wing position for the arms. And then of course you're trying to maintain a comfortable gaze out on something in front of you that helps you feel more balanced, and trying to keep the breath comfortable even as you actively work moment to moment if you start to feel wobbly and you want to self-correct and keep yourself upright. Let's go ahead and bring that left foot down, bring the arms down for a second. As both feet come to the ground, notice the amount of work that was being done around the hips. In this moment, I'm noticing a lot of work around that right hip, so I'm going to acknowledge that, just kind of noticing that's an area that is working and getting some benefit probably from doing that pose for a little while. Let's try that on the second side. So shifting onto the left foot, the hips shift just a little bit to the left. I make the leg strong as I do that, and then coming up onto the toes of the right foot with the arms just a little bit to the side, or really in any of those positions that you find helpful for your balance. And then from stage one, where the toes touching on the right side, you can lift the toes just a couple inches off the ground, noting that you can easily bring your toe back down to the floor if you want, right? So that's always an option, especially if you start to feel like you're losing your balance. And then if you want to go to stage three, the knee would come up about parallel with the floor. And again, arms could be out to the sides in the airplane position, or they could come up into bird wing position, sometimes called cactus position. And then go ahead on an exhale and bring the foot down, bring the leg down, shake out whatever needs shaking out. A lot of times, because I'm holding that pose nice and firmly, it feels nice to do some kind of fluid, dynamic movement afterwards, just to let that go. Let's try that on each side for a couple more breaths. So shifting onto the right foot, bring your arms into position wherever you'd like to place them, and start by coming up onto the toes, or in particular the big toe of that left leg. Take a breath or two there. If you're feeling pretty stable and you want to try lifting the toes just a little bit off the floor, feel free to do that for a breath or two. And then if you're feeling more confident, you want to challenge yourself a little bit, bring that thigh up so it's about parallel with the floor. If you start to lose your balance, sometimes I'll move my arms around in kind of a circular fashion to correct my balance in the moment. And then bring the foot down, bring the arms down. As you bring both feet to the floor, notice if you changed your breathing as you were working. So if you're gripping the breath and the breath is kind of shining a mirror maybe on the nervousness or some fear that's coming up, Try to be mindful of relaxing the breath. Keep the mind relaxed, and remember, you can bring your foot down at any moment if you need to, right? If you start to feel a little bit off balance. So shifting to the second side, energize the left leg, bring your arms into your chosen position. Come up onto the big toe for stage 1 and stay there for a couple of breaths. So I even notice here that I have to work on maintaining the balance even though I've got both feet essentially touching the floor. Stage 2, the foot floats up just an inch or two off the ground. Taking a few breaths here, trying to keep that awareness of the quality of your breath. And then float the knee up so the thigh is about parallel with the floor, maintaining that for a couple breaths. Even if things are a little wobbly, that's okay. That still means you're working in a good way to improve your balance, even if it's a very wobbly day. And then bring the foot and arms down. Maybe flap your wings. Let your flamingo wings shake out a little bit, shake your legs out a little bit. So there you have it, kind of the basic version of Flamingo Pose, a nice balance practice to do to start cultivating and improving your balance over time. So thanks for joining me. Don't forget to check out my website, and if you like this video and you're watching it on YouTube, please hit like, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks. Namaste.